Hey everybody, welcome back to another video with me. I'm Nikki, and if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead, subscribe. I walk you through real-time tutorials where I teach you how to make things for your friends and family. Today, we are going to do a super simple, easy sewing project that, who knows, maybe you might want to give away as a Christmas gift. I mean, after all, we're in the middle of COVID, and it's kind of hard sometimes to find supplies. So this was actually a request, and a few weeks ago, and I just thought, let me get to it now. We're going to make reusable towels, paper towels, unpaper towels, reusable towels for the kitchen, but we're also going to be sewing a reusable sponge. Okay, and you can make them as sets. You can go ahead and watch the videos that I have done on pot holders. I've done videos on bowl holders. You can give them as a gift set to someone. Everything for the kitchen. So yeah, let's get started. Okay, so I have with me here and like I said, this is a super simple video. I have with me here cotton fabric, and then I also have terry cloth fabric. This is actually, you buy this on a boat. It comes wider on a super wide boat when you buy it from the fabric section, of course. Okay, but if you need to find some quickly for yourself, if COVID starts going crazy again, get some old towels, some old hand towels or something that you have. Okay, if you're making it for someone else, do not use your used towels. Get some good fabric. Get the terry cloth fabric from the store. Okay, you can okay, let's just get started with this portion. Okay, so all we're going to do for this is go ahead and put this pretty side. Y'all like my fabric, right? I like it too, it's Brit. Put the pretty side of the fabric to the pretty side. Now, if you have a serger, you can actually sew this together with your pretty side and your pretty side facing outwards, and just sew. You can also choose to, if you don't want to flip this, you can also choose to do a zigzag stitch if you want to. I don't like the way that looks. Okay, so I am personally going to flip this, and I'm going to a pretty side to pretty side. Okay. I honestly like to see clean edges. That's just me. I don't mind taking a few extra minutes to do the extra stitching. I just don't like to see stitching on outside unless it's a top stitch. Okay, I'm just pinning this into place into several different portions. We are going to sew around the four sides, but at the bottom we want to leave a portion so that we can turn it right side out. Okay. And because terry cloth could tend to maybe a little thick, I'm sewing on 3.0. And remember the back stitch, of course. What's so easy about this is that it's just sewing straight lines, that's all. I'm just straightening out my material here because it tends to stretch a little, the terry cloth. Okay. Now, here's the thing. When you're sewing reusable towels, the reason I put terry cloth on the back of here was just because it's absorbent. It's sort of like when you take a bath and you use a regular towel, that terry cloth is absorbent. But you can use cotton on the back. You can use flannel if you would like. I'm just cutting this because my terry cloth kind of stretched. Yeah, so that's the reason I'm using the terry cloth on the back of here. Okay. If you want to do napkins, unpaper napkins as well, you can do one layer of the fabric, of cotton fabric, and put flannel on the back of it, or you can use 2 layers of cotton just back to back. It's really up to you. And all I did was measure a paper towel when I did this. It's really simple. You can also make it whatever size you would like to. That's the beauty of these projects, where certain things don't have to be, certain measurements don't have to be set in stone. If you have a favorite size paper towel that you like to use and you're trying to go green, go ahead and trace the paper towel to the size that you would like. You know, every little bit that we can do, it helps. Sounds crazy, but it's true. So every little bit counts. At this point, because like I said, I like to top stitch everything. And I don't like to see stitching, the zigzag stitching on top of products. But at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to top stitch all around, closing up that hole. So you want to make sure that you sew 1/8 of an inch. Okay. I'm going to start down here in my corner. I'm going to go all the way around. Be sure to backstitch. Make sure you are not sewing on 2.5 with terry cloth, because terry cloth is too thick and it has like the straggly portions underneath, and so it's going to cause tension issues for you if you're sewing on 2.5. You don't want that. This bread fabric, guys, it's like yum. You can pick some, you know, cool fabrics. Remember, that's why we sew. We sew for the creativity, the uniqueness of patterns. As I get down here to the bottom, I'm just rolling under that terry cloth so that I don't get it on the top. Okay, so you see this? I'm just pushing it. I'm rolling it right underneath so that I'm sure to get the cotton fabric on top. Because I didn't iron this before top stitching. There really is no need to. Oh, you know I would have done it, guys. Last side. And I'm just going to cut my straggly here so I don't create a knot at the bottom. All right. Here we go. Just gonna cut my stragglies. And if you're just joining for this new beginner tutorial, Nope. I know my machine has a cutter. I don't use it. Look how good this looks. Ooh, yum. Okay, now, makes me want some bread, y'all. I just realized this pattern, it could really be any way. Okay, so at this point, you have options on how to finish this. Technically, it's finished already as a paper towel. Okay, you could make a few of these, just fold them and put them into a basket near your sink. Okay, or what you can do, I'm not going to do it, but you can add on snaps onto the end. And if you need to know how to do snaps, I already have a tutorial on that, so you can go and check. But you can add on snaps, okay, where what you'll then do is connect them to another, to another one, and you can roll them and put them onto a regular paper towel holder. Okay, so if it's something that you like to consider, go ahead and add the snaps, but you'll have to do it for each one that you're creating. Okay, and then you'll just be rolling it into almost like a tube. Okay, but these look very nice. They look pretty if you fold them and put them into a basket and put them on your counter, or if you want to maybe in the end here put a grommet. Okay, and then you know what a grommet is? It's like those things that those round circles for like the shower hooks, the circles. So you can put a grommet and then hang them. Okay, there's a few different things you can do with this. Okay, now at this point, I'm going to put this to the side and we're going to take a look at the sponge situation. Of course, we're using matching fabric, right? Because, a whole set. Yeah, you can do like the hand mitt, you can do the pot holder, you can do the whole kitchen set, but use the same fabric. Okay, so at this point, I want to talk to you guys about this reusable sponge, the reusable kitchen sponge. Okay, I'm using the same fabrics, by the way, like I just mentioned, the same top fabric, but also for the bottom, I'm going to use the terry cloth as well. Now, take a look at this quick video real quick. It's hyperlapse, but take a quick look at the video because you're going to see how I tested 3 different types of material over the course of a few weeks to see what I like best. And with some, help from my camera person, we came to the conclusion of what we liked. These are the final materials that I'm choosing to use. Cotton for the top. Okay. This is tulle. Let's see if you can see. Okay, so we have tulle. I'm using 2 layers of tulle. We tried it with mesh. We tried it with you know, like you saw in the video, we used some reusable material from like the onion, I mean, not onion, from the lemon bags. And the tool kind of, you know, worked best because it gave that scratchiness against plates and pots when scrubbing. But the reason we're going to use 2 layers, I just didn't cut it, but the measurements turn out to be 2 layers. It's because when you are scratching those pots, you want to make sure that the first layer of the tool doesn't rip for some reason. Or I realized when cleaning knives, okay, so that was another thing as well, you know, making sure it doesn't poke through. For that reason, we're going to double up, and just so that, you know, there's an additional layer there, okay? So we have this right here, the terry cloth, which is going to, you know, be matching. And because this is going to be our very bottom layer, we want it to rest on top of this tool, okay? The tool is going to be the top layer. Then you have the patterned material, not patterned, but yeah, the pattern on it, your pretty side of your pattern, okay? Okay, and now this, my friends, okay, we've done several, like I said, we tested several different items, everything from 100% batting to using some felt to using, I mean, I put several different things, as you can see from the test pictures. You know what this is? This is new foam. This is that cushion that when you sit out on outside patio, if you have a backyard where you have cushions, or, you know, I'm trying to think of what else it will be in. But anyway, the outside cushions, that's what this is. This is 1 inch thick new foam. And it all made sense because guess what? Not only is it hypoallergenic, but it's water resistant. So like, hello, you know what? You know why that's important? That's important because this way, when this is getting wet, you're not smelling stinky stuff in your sponge. Yes, your sponges are reusable, you know, but the idea is that you want to be able to clean them. You can toss them into the washer machine, but this all makes sense. It's like, oh, it didn't smell, the sponges didn't smell mildewy at all after a few weeks. Okay. Now, again, you can choose to use whatever you want to, 100%, you know, several layers of 100% cotton. You know, you could even put fleece in there, you know, but I found this, you know, to be the best, okay, and thick. So this is going to get layered on top of the terry cloth, okay? Let me see which side is my pretty side. They kind of look, they kind of look the same. Okay, let's see, hold on. All right, this is the bottom, okay, which means that's the pretty side. All right, there we go. So pretty side of fabric up, the tool on top of that. Okay, so normally when you sew, that's all you would technically need, but we're adding in this layer of foam between them. Okay, so I'm going to put this right on top of the terry cloth. Okay, now go ahead and pin it. It's going to be a little thick. I'm using my presser foot. However, use your walking foot if you don't feel comfortable, if you feel like you're going to struggle. Okay, but look, the reason I'm using my presser foot is because look, this squeezes down. Okay, here's another thing for you to know. Because we're using the new foam, right? What will happen is I'm going to sew with this on the top, because if you sew with it on the bottom, well, guess what? The fibers, just like if you're sewing with fleece or something, it's going to go down into your dog feeds. And when it goes down inside of your dog feeds, it gets in your bobbin housing unit. And then you know what that causes? Tension issues, because then you get so much of it down there that if you don't take it out to clean it, right, that affects your tension. Okay, which is also why if you guys are sewing a lot, you need to make sure that you're cleaning out that your housing unit. Okay, all right, So I'm going to put the fuzzy side on the top, okay? And I'm just making sure my tool is out. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to start in the middle of one of the long sides, not the short sides, but the long ones, so that I have more space to turn this right side out, okay? Make sure your tool is cut longer than your actual sponge, material. Okay, here we go. I'm going to sew on 3.0, but I'm also sewing on 0.5 for my distance. So do you notice how the sponge is squeezing? That's why I'm not using a walking foot. I'm using a regular presser foot, because it pushes down and it will poof back up when you are done sewing it. And I'm keeping those fibers out of my housing unit. It's very easy sewing, guys. All right. I'm just giving it a little extra back stitch there. I'm just going to peek here and make sure that I caught my my cotton underneath. Okay, I'm going to backstitch a few times, leaving that portion open. I'm going to go ahead and clip these. You always want to clip because it reduces the bulk. For when you flip. I'm going to just clip this out. I'm not going to clip my side there. All right, yeah. So guys, that oh, I forgot to cut this one. Oh, cut that tool. But yeah, so the sponge, it made so much sense. It was like, oh yeah, the new foam. So what I'm going to do is, here's your layer, your outer layer. The two tool layers are here. Make sure that you turn this right side out, holding down the tool so that you make sure that you get the tool on the top layer when you flip it. And the terry cloth should be on the bottom. So I'm putting my finger between them. Okay, and I'm going to just start at the far corner of the sponge and push through. It pushes through very, fairly easily because obviously the new foam is flexible. I just never leave really big holes because it's harder to close your hole if you're at a corner than in the middle. And clearly this isn't a large project. No, I just don't think I leave big holes anyway. You see the fibers flicking off as I push the terry through. This is why certain things, when you do sew, you want to make sure that you sew with them up underneath your walking foot and not down towards your dog feeds, because that all goes inside of your machine. Okay, I'm poking using, obviously, the chopstick. If you don't have a chopstick, get something pointy. If you're going to use scissors, just be careful that you don't poke holes in your product. Been there, done that. Okay, poking out my corners. All right, great. And now, you see, this is why we put 2 layers of the tool, because this way when you are, of course we're not done yet, when you're scrubbing, plates or pans, you don't want to rip that layer of the tool. So it looks good. It doesn't look bad, guys. and you can still see the print. Okay, so fold in that material, fold in those outer layers, and go ahead and close it up. Okay, right around the edges. You're gonna go 1/8 of an inch. Okay, and I'm still sewing on 3.0. I'm sewing on 3.0 because I don't want to stress out my machine making the stitches smaller, because I'm using a lot of layers. You see how easy my machine is taking with the presser foot? You see how easy it's going through this because it's squishy? You know, it's nice to get all those feet for the machine, but honestly, I don't even use the ones that I have. So don't think you have to get them when you see them all for sale, because you don't. All right. Cutting off my stragglies. The other thing is, if you want to use a different color on your bobbin on the bottom, you don't even see my beige here because it's hidden inside of the terry cloth. But if you were using like bright red or something, I'm sure you would see it, or some crazy color. But if you want to use a different color in the bobbin according to what you're sewing, make sure you change the bobbin color, and leave your top spool whatever color you would like. So you could create some really cool sets of this, and it's pretty much, we're talking about going eco-friendly, right? And, at a time when everything climate control, we won't get into that, but the whole idea is that this is a great eco-friendly project, and when supplies are out in the stores, you'd be ready, or whoever you give that gift to will be ready. They'd be supplied with a few things. Wash these babies on, cold water. You can tumble dry low because, again, it's cotton. It's 100% cotton, okay? And we're not filling up the landfills. So, all right. So that's about all for now. I will see you back here for another video, for another tutorial next week, okay? If you have questions, comments, go ahead, put them down below. Subscribe. Thank you for watching. Bye, guys.